map with Chris Cusimano and some two awesome peeps. Did you think I was gonna mess that up?
I was waiting for you to not say it right. I don't know what it is.
Because we're on fire today because of when it is. All right. Well, who's talking? Who are you?
Hey everyone, I'm Jen Conicom, the one who clearly has lots of faith in Chris.
I don't know why. And
Well,
is Alex here?
Sorry, guys. I was having technical issues for a second.
Oh,
it's because he was talking shit. Okay, I was totally talking shit too. I was like, "There's no way that how is he not have his stuff together already?"
Well, I'll tell you how.
I'll
tell you. I can tell you. I can tell you the whole freaking story. By the way, if you're new to this podcast, maybe we should just start off and say that we do talk about some real estate related growth strategies, marketing stuff, and does not involve cold calling and door knocking. And we will get to there, but we're all friends and we like to chat. And hopefully, you can be our friend too, at least in your ears, or maybe watching on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Honestly, I prefer watching on YouTube to see the things that we don't say with our faces.
Oh, and it's a lot with you, Alex.
Yeah,
if Alex ever sits into one of your classes, don't look in his direction because you'll either be
Please
sleeping
be on your
or
phone,
texting.
fall asleep, do whatever you need to do.
Well, let's not forget he's got the hard eyebrow thing going. See, there it is. See, look. Ow.
So
it's my rock.
I'm putting up Christmas lights right now, and I'll get to the story of where my technical S show came from. But I'm listening to I'm putting up Christmas lights, and I'm listening to Howard Stern. I'm a big Howard Stern guy, and I realized that this podcast will never be at that level, which just makes me kind of sad inside. But anyways, well, maybe one day, who knows?
Attitude.
Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's not the can-do attitude.
This clock is ticking. How old are we? We don't have much time left on this this game of life here.
Honestly, Howard Stern told the shit. So let's.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, we digress. Go. Lights, action.
There you go. So anyway, I'm listening to him, and the part they're talking about now is that they were talking about how they were on a team meeting, and all of a sudden they heard that like a certain sound come from their executive producer's phone. It was do 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 ding, and that is the sound when you solve a crossword puzzles on the New York Times app. So as on a team meeting, he's playing a crossword puzzle. So they go down this whole rabbit hole on how to be a part of a meeting. And I'm sitting there thinking, I'm like, if this is what one of the most successful men in his team has to deal with, how am I upset when my team doesn't turn on their cameras in their team meetings? Or when Alex Medel is just mass texting, or he's on Tinder or Grindr, wherever he's on in the middle of class. Like, how can I possibly be upset?
Well,
yeah, that's true.
It's about perspective.
Sometimes it's best to start swiping.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not as interesting as Howard Stern, so okay.
I mean, we can just get more risque guests on our show.
Oh, why not? He's not even that way anymore, by the way. People think that I would say 5% of his show does that, and the rest is like stupid stuff, like goofing on each other for, doing crossword puzzles. So what they did was they grabbed everyone's phones, they ran them all through ChatGPT, and then aligned it with the days they did shows to see who was doing games on their phone at the same time as the show was going on. And he's just ripping into them like, I'm paying you and you're sitting here doing this. Like, anyways.
Well, it gave him free content. There you go.
Yeah, there you go. We're talking about it, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I love that show. It makes me giggle. Do you guys have any, I know, Alex, you're a big TikTok guy. You're scrolling down that. Is that like your content of choice?
Yeah. Which it shouldn't be, because then you can get into a rabbit hole and then you're scrolling for miles and then it's sunrise and you're like, wow, I didn't sleep last night because I was just scrolling.
What kind of content does the rabbit hole take you down? Because it can go a million. It can go a million which ways. But what does your feed mainly consist of?
For me, it's parenting stuff. It's right now it's still about the election and what's going on and who's coming in next.
Wait, is that where you learned how to do the face thingy for Ava?
No, that was Google, the face paint. Those unaware. I went to the zoo over the weekend with my daughter because she wanted to get her face painted like a tiger. And of course, the one day I go, they're not doing face
Of course.
So
of course.
And I was going to be a good dad that day, and I painted her face like a tiger.
Solid. No, you did good. I was actually very impressed by your skills.
Thank you. I found a step-by-step tutorial on Google. Thanks, Google. But TikTok also has become my main search engine, more so than Google or Bing for those that use Bing for whatever reason.
I never got into Bing.
I keep saying I'm gonna do a Bing profile for business to attract that crowd, because Bing comes natively on a lot of PCs.
Exactly.
Anyways, go ahead.
You're exactly correct. People that get Windows computers, it's automatically set to Bing whenever you search something. So, and a lot of people don't know how to change that. So when somebody's Googling or binging houses for sale in Boca or wherever you are, Coral Springs, you can still do a good PPC, and it's even cheaper PPC leads.
Well, yeah, I can imagine, because it's less people are paying for it. I've been honestly doing so. We get pretty. If you Google right now, actually, all of us are on there. If you Google right now, whoever's listening, well, at the time of us recording this, right before Thanksgiving, November 27th, 2024, in case you're listening in 10 years from now. But at the time of us recording this, if you Google Boca or Boca Raton realtor or real estate agent, all three of us are at the top 5.
Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's super dope. And our office is in that top 5 too. And I keep saying that I'm gonna use those same strategies and learn Bing. And you know what? I'll be honest, the reason why I don't is because their process is such a pain in the ass. Like, I don't know, it's just not user friendly. It's really clunky. It looks like it's like old dial-up, like a horrible WordPress website. So I was like, man, I really hope that was it Bill Gates and Microsoft and ChatGPT, because they have a big stake in ChatGPT. They'll go in and fix that, but it just hasn't happened yet. Oh, speaking of which,
remember those commercials back in the day, PC versus Mac?
No.
You don't remember those? It was like Justin Long represented Apple, and then some like square guy who looked like Dwight Schrute represented Mac. You don't remember those?
No.
I'm gonna literally Google it right now.
No, yeah. If we had the capability that the Howard Stern show does, we could pull it up real quick and play it, but we don't. We're just gonna imagine it. When I listen to the show, dude, I hear like they do like callbacks. Like there's someone literally taking clips of what people said during the show that's stupid, and later in the show they'll make that button available for like Howard Depressed, and they have sound effects and I'm like, man, that's like a whole freaking thing.
It's a production team, Chris.
Yeah.
What we got? We can barely sound on the internet these days.
I know. Oh, so let's talk about that, and then we'll get into some real estate stuff. Why not? And then whatever else you guys want to talk about. So, anyways, I am okay. So I'm revamping my 2025 main goal. One of my main goals is to really do the coaching program right. It's always just kind of been there. I haven't really pushed it or sold it, and I feel like I have a moral obligation to present it because it's good stuff. It works, helps my business, Jen's, Alex's, whatever. Anyways, so in order to move the needle forward, I had to make hard decisions and have hard conversations. And basically what I'm saying is I had to take over the whole project. And because of that, I set my time block every night. I'm going to stop working on the Coaching by Kuzi platform at midnight. That's my stop. And that went to 1:30, and that went to 2. And now last night I was on it until 2:45 a.m. Anyways.
Wait, Kenna's still gone?
Huh?
Is Kenna still gone?
Oh no, she's here. She's sleeping during that. So I have my baby monitor here because you don't wake her up in the middle of the night. That's still my dude. That's still my thing. And then I'm just going down the rabbit hole. Right now I'm working on the negotiation free training that we're putting out for Black Friday for free. Anyone, it's for free. It's really, really cool, but I'm biased. So anyway, so it's a free negotiating training. It's my negotiating tactics that I use in real estate. And I just broke it down with millions of examples. And today I'm working on a script book for it, or whatever. I digress. So anyhow, what does that have to do with my internet? There was a reason it had something to do with my internet. Oh, the reason I stopped working last night is because the internet stopped at 2:45. I'm like, okay, no big deal. Wake up, the internet's fine, everything's working. And then I'm outside doing Christmas lights just now. And I have one of those like smart like devices that connects whatever, there's like outlets. And I'm connecting it and it won't connect to the internet, And I come in here and I'm like, all right, whatever, I'll figure that out. And then I come in here and Internet's not working. Restart the computer. Internet's not working. So what happens? I go inside the house, and where the internet is plugged in, my kid's sitting there on their iPad, apparently not watching anything on the internet because they're watching something else. And they just kicked out the outlet and just like, we'll just leave that on the floor. So I go over there and I plug it back in, and because the kids are home for Thanksgiving. So that was my tech issues for now you know.
Now I know.
Blame it on the kids, Chris. I see how it is.
Always, dude. You broke, blame it on the kids. Are you fat? It's the kids.
Oh, stop it. I mean, I will admit, I'm a big eater of their scraps. So yes.
Yep.
Whenever I am a little thicker around the waistline, it's probably because they have been eating exceptionally terrible, and I have been joining right alongside.
Yeah, I've been noticing that, Jen. You gotta chill.
I gotta chill eating.
Just kidding. I wouldn't say that if you couldn't take it. It was just a joke. Now don't go crying and like, does you really think that? No, it was a joke.
No, I'm in the best shape ever.
I'm actually jealous, dude. You do these like triathlons and shit, and like I'm legit. I have my cardio machine here, and no, it's here. So what I'll do is in the middle of the day, I'm like, I'm gonna get my heart rate up, and it's one of those like max trainers, high intensity cardio. I used to do 2 full sessions back to back and still be cool. Now, like I don't know if you know, it's hit cardio, so you spike up and then you rest. You spike up and you rest. I can only go through 3 spikes before I'm wheezing. Like, and I'm like,
inhaler.
I wheeze going up the stairs, so.
Come on, guys.
I'm not a cardio person. I'm all weight training for me.
Well, I can tell, dude, with all your shirtless posts you've been doing, sexy boy.
Thanks, babes.
Thanks, babes. Where are you at today? You have a different background.
Oh, I'm in the same office. It's just I got rid of the bed that was in my home office, and I centered it for listing photos.
Got it. I kind of enjoyed the bed background. It was very calming.
Yeah, but this makes me feel like I'm in a padded room. So
with a calming dog,
so calming. If you can't tell, he's all here.
Oh, it's a buddy.
No, hello, Snoozies.
Where are my dogs? They're usually next to me. That's so cute.
My dog this morning, because I wasn't gonna go to the 5 a.m. workout. I was supposed to swim. I didn't swim, but this bitch.
All those scraps.
Actually, it was the wine last night that did not let me sleep. I didn't sleep well. But this dog is pawing at me because he's so used to going to the bathroom at 4:30, and he's waking me up at 4:30 to let him out. I was so mad at him, and I was ignoring him. And at that point, he pawed and then stared. I was like, okay, I'll let you out. That's the one problem I will say about having that schedule is the days I don't work out at that hour.
They want to get out.
The dog still needs to go out.
Yeah, that's it. That's her time, girl.
Yeah. Bowel movements are real.
Big shout out to my wife today. Now that I think about timing, waking up later, because I was up until 3-ish until I fell asleep. She let me sleep in, and I didn't even know. I woke up, and it was 9:15 a.m. I'm like, what is this? I've never seen this time when I woke up before. And I was like, this is thanks, babe. And I just look at her, and she, she's wearing the stress on her face, but she's champing through it.
Kudos, Kenna.
Yeah,
much appreciated.
Now
yeah, make him pay for it.
well, she's out shopping now. So, anyways, so guys, we're going to talk to some real estate strategies in a little bit. And before I want to talk about the Christmas party because I'm just going to openly talk about this because every year, the Coaching by Kuzi team, we have a Christmas or holiday party, I should say, for all faiths. And we get together and, do gifts, whatever. We get together. And this year, the market's been soft and there's been a lot of moving parts. And I'm like, you know what? Let's, instead of spending a fortune like we always do, why don't we could just piggyback on the office party? So I reached out to the powers that be. I'm like, hey, we can just, piggyback off that. And he's like, yeah, well, you're supposed to come anyways. And then I realized, why are we having 2 Christmas parties? There's already one for the office anyhow.
I didn't know
yeah, on the 18th. So they haven't officially announced it yet, but it's the 18th from 6 to 9. So
I think at Maggiano's, no?
Maggiano's. But now I'm in a dilemma because once I confirm that's what we're happening, JD on our team, she brought up a good question. It's like, is the office party +1? I'm like, oh, I guess I should have thought of that, but I didn't. And it's not. And I'm like, and then I realized that after I invited everyone to a pre-office party team-only happy hour at Duffy's or something next door with their spouses. And then my wife calls me immediately. She's like, dude, you can't do that. You can't sit there and go, bring your spouses and then tell them to go home. And I'm like, you're right. I can't. I didn't even think about it. I'm like, so what would you do? She goes, I don't know. I'm like, I don't know either. I guess I'm just going to text everyone when we're talking about it next week. So I want to talk it out. What do we do here, Jen, and in the future, Alex, when he gets his head out of his ass and joins us? What do we do?
You don't do spouses.
You don't do spouses.
That's it.
Spouseless?
Spouseless.
But admins are welcome. And my wife's an admin and she's going to want to go. So then it makes me feel like.
But she's a part of the team. You're overthinking it. People, you're overthinking. No spouses. Move on. See?
I don't want people to be like, oh, well, Chris got his spouse. What does he think? Because it's his team.
I don't think anybody would think that. I think that's just you feeling guilty and putting that in your own head.
Yeah.
That is accurate.
And they'll probably get over it the next day if they are upset. And if they are upset over something like that, then
I think we have bigger fish to fry then in that case.
Yeah. So that is a good point. I wouldn't want to work with someone so petty anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really don't think anybody has an issue with that, to be honest. I think that's just you feeling guilty and manifesting that thought.
So with that said, are you guys both going?
Well, I just found out about it, so I just put it in my calendar. I'll get a babysitter.
Listen, I didn't know about it either. My wife texted me and she asked, and then I texted Mary and Courtney, who's running it, and they're the ones who told me yesterday. And then I asked them, can I tell the team? They were waiting for after Thanksgiving. But I'm like, well, people make plans. You might want to tell them sooner. So
yeah.
I mean, they did put something out there. Dee had that date. Yeah, she had to save the date. That's the extent of it. So when I saw that, I did put it in my calendar, whether or not I was going.
Emails more often.
Say that again, Alex.
I said I really have to look at the office emails more often. I think it's save the date.
There's just so many. They have so many correspondence going. You just block them out, right, Jen?
You took the words out of my mouth. I've been trying to go into the office more for trainings, but I can't keep up. I really can't. And the training emails kind of get lost with the event emails and my own personal and business emails that I'm just kind of like just back away from the emails.
Yeah, they're rolling out a new website that should help with this, and it's going to be a little bit more user friendly than the
Empowered.
But they don't need any of that. All you need is a Facebook group, and then all the tabs are there.
Yeah, but nobody actually will do a Facebook group either. That's the thing.
Because there's no reason for them to go there.
Because they get the emails.
Yeah, so
or the text messages.
If you just get rid of everything else except for like our the intranet and those types of things, and you just put all forms of communications and events in one place. Because look, they have Eventbrite, the Facebook, that I don't even know the names of Commander, whatever the hell this thing is. I don't even know. What's the other one? Is Empower, Command, the Office Internet. There's all these things, and you're like, and then you have a link for the calendars, and you're like, what? And then you walk in, and on the wall, there's literally a wall of trainings, and you're like, this is too much.
I think they've lowered the amount of trainings that they're doing. Again.
Yeah, I think if I was running a brokerage, and tell me if I'm wrong here, because I've told Mary this 100 times. I'm like, you should make it very simple. You should have 3 phases of trainings, depending on where people are in production. And
I think that's the plan for the next year.
Oh, May, she's listening.
Yes. Well, Matt Raciti is in charge of it now.
Oh, he's listening. Okay.
Somebody's listening.
We'll finish that thought for those people that are not aware of this potential, because I think that's great.
Yeah, well, it's like, so you have all these trainings and you just don't know what would be applicable to you. So I was like, well, you should make 3 different phases of it. And depending on your production level and or experience, whatever your qualifying factors are, you should have a set list of trainings that fit into that. And they shouldn't be able to move on to the next one unless they completed all those courses, not just watching them, actually implement them in their business and then move on the next. And actually, that's how the Coach of Jacuzzi program ended up in a couple of the Keller Williams offices, because they're like, well, what do you suggest? I'm like, well, if you want to hear my opinion, which obviously you do, I think you should start with Ignite for the newbies and then lead them into my training after that. and then they can go to next level stuff on level 3, which I can offer, or you can offer something else like MAPS coaching or something. So it should be like baseline, my coaching right after that, and then some other more immersive training on level 3. And maybe they're doing it. I don't know. They haven't told me.
You should honestly guest speak in Ignite more.
Yeah.
So you can rep your shit.
Yeah. Well, they made me join the ALC. What's up, Alex?
I guest speak, and that's kind of how I bumped up my Instagram followers, and have gotten a referral out of it.
I like
it. You're right. When I did,
there's 300 people.
Yeah, when I did, because they're not responding to the emails or any of that stuff. So maybe they'll respond to that. When I did family reunion, and I did the Southeast Florida regional thing when I was on stage for those events, that is where the most people entered my coaching program, those two things. And they're there. They're still there. My hardcore people, if you ask most of them, that's where they came from. They're motivated, they want to learn, they're ready to go. So because of that, my goal for 2025, as I mentioned before, is get the training up and running seriously.
Well, it sounds like Alex just gave you a solid step forward on that action plan.
I'm doing it.
I'm serious, like an action plan for that, because for you to grow the coaching platform more, I mean, you said it, your coaching grew after doing these speaking events where people got to really see people that were not a part of your sphere, completely new to the game or seasoned in the game, and were able to see your stuff in action. So these speaking events at a greater scale are just going to help scale up the biz.
Yeah, and help you too, Jennifer Konogoff. I'm really hoping that more team members, once I'm in it now, I'm working on, I'm going to do this right this time. And I'm really, not that I wasn't done right before, but just a different way of doing it now. And once that's there, I really hope that people like yourself, Jen, and people on the team can really embrace it and leverage it to connect with the realtors around the country, help them, and also grow your business too, your referral business also. So
100%.
Yeah. Anyway, so Mary made me, not made me. Yeah, she kind of forced me to join the ALC this year.
She voluntold.
She did.
She did the same thing to me, so don't worry about it.
So you're in it, Alex?
I am.
Haven't you been in it? No.
Oh. It's Tabitha, Erica, Courtney, you, myself.
I haven't been invited.
That's actually a cool squad.
It is. It's a very good squad. I wasn't super happy with the squad that we had this year, so I'm very excited for this new one, because I think it's all the.
Is this invite only?
Oh, I don't know.
I'm a little hurt. I'm kidding.
Well, Jen, don't feel bad. I have never been on it, so, and I've been in this office for 13 years or whatever.
I won't take it to heart, but the squad that you just mentioned is, in Chris's words, pretty dope.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's going to be beneficial long term. I don't know anything about it. I just know in Keller Williams they have what's called ALC. Alex, you know more about it than me.
So it's just figuring out ways to help the office grow. It's ALC stands for something leadership committee. So
all right.
It's a group of people that look at how the office is doing in terms of production, GCI, profit, company spend. We brainstorm ways to help new agents, experienced agents, capping agents to succeed, and where we should focus our energies and really bounce ideas off each other. And I was very skeptical. Mary had to beg me. She batted her eyes, and I was like, all right,
fine. Mm-hmm. You're her new favorite.
Yeah.
She'll bat those eyes for you.
And I really got a lot out of it. I feel like it's helped me, one, to give back more to some of the newer agents, or help some of the more experienced agents, and how to communicate with them, how to figure out how I can help. And I'm very big on giving, and the universe gives back. So I felt like it's been very beneficial to me. And I feel like somebody like you, Chris, who already is like that, it would be even better for everybody involved for you to join and lend your advice and your ideas to the office.
And ask a lot of questions, right?
And ask a lot of questions, yes.
Alex gives me shit because I don't ask enough questions.
See, I'm leading you to be a better moderator.
I know. Listen, obviously it's working because it's in my brain. Like, he's right. He's right. I need to be better at that.
Look at this meeting of the minds. Growing, expanding. This is what it's all about.
You know what's funny about it? My negotiating tactics is all about asking questions too. And like, but then I do what I shouldn't do is I get into teach mode because I get so excited to share information, you know? And I'm like, oh, I got these nuggets that can help this person. And maybe that's, I don't know, maybe is that an ego thing to thinking that I could help someone? But on the flip side, I feel like if I know something, I have an ethical obligation to share with other people to help them get better. It's a weird balance.
But it's teaching styles, Chris. So like you're so excited to give that knowledge, which is fantastic and great. And this is why we're all here. But in that teaching aspect, you have to pause to make sure they actually understood it and then ask questions to see if they grasp and how they took it, because the way you delivered it, they might have interpreted it 7 different ways. My mind works. I take one concept and I go like 3 different ways with it,
and then you block everything else that's being said until you master that one.
Exactly. And now I'm thinking. So now, but then now you've lost me on your step 5 because I'm still at step 1. I'm like, oh, I can implement this into my business like this. But what if I did that? So it's just then instead of me having this mental conversation, the pausing allows you as the teacher to now then dig deeper. Like, well, how would you implement this? How would this look like in your business versus Alex's business, and so on and so on.
Yeah,
that's a good strategy.
I also feel like it helps. Sorry, Chris, I can see you're itching.
No.
I also feel like it helps to force you to listen more, because instead of waiting for them to like stop talking so you can teach them something, it makes you listen to see where you can ask the next question.
Right? Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. Well, you teach too, Alex, and I don't know if you struggle with this. Tell me if you do or don't, because I definitely do. When I'm presenting and I feel like the content is just exceptional and that it's life-changing, and then I can see I'm trying to read the reaction. And when you're on, like, say, Zoom, something like this, and half the cameras are off, a third of them people are driving, and a couple of people are on their phone, and I'm like, how are they not loving this? You know, or if I'm like, this is like, to me, this is like exciting, nerding, mind-blowing business stuff that can really change. Just this alone can change the game, and they're fucking playing Wordle, right? And then I see it in the office too, in person, where half a third of the room is really engaged, and the rest rather just wait for the mimosas to come out. Yeah. And so I don't know if you experience that too. So when I'm in there, I feel like I have to amp up the energy a little bit, and I have to like kind of really deliver the goods. But then the other part of my brain, I'm live thinking, it goes, these people are never gonna get it. Like they're just not built for it. Like the people who want it get it, and the people who don't. And then I'm like, should I just focus on the people who get it? And then I naturally start gravitating to them, and I just want to give more and more and more and more and more. So that's the ditch I dig for myself every time I present, every single time.
When I present on like Zoom, like for Ignite, I make the audience participate. So I'll ask them a question, like, I do training on social media videos, and I say, who here wants to do video but is too scared? Put a 1 in the comments. And then I get a flurry of it. And then I do that with multiple questions throughout my training, so I'm at least keeping them engaged, and I see how many people are engaged, so it makes them listen, and they want to see their number that I make them put into the chat. It's almost like a reward system for themselves, and it helps them engage a little bit more.
If you call their name out too,
exactly.
Alex, you one as well. Yeah, me too. I fear that having that personal connection to that to the actual participation hits that dopamine, like, ooh, I did good.
Oh yeah, they're talking to me.
Or I'll ask them like an open-ended question and then put it in the chat, and then I'll read out some of the chats. And then in person, when I'm speaking, I kind of treat everybody like my kid. So when
explain yourself.
When I'm asking like a question, I ask them like, does that make sense? Right? Like that makes sense, right? And nobody answers. I'm like, right? Like I want them to comprehend what I'm saying and
you're
yell
pulling,
it back to me. Right.
Yeah,
I do that
you're
to my
pulling
daughter.
it.
Make sure she's comprehending and she understands.
Or maybe they're just yesing us to death.
Maybe, but then it'll trigger them to start listening. Like,
well, I feel like if they're yesing you to death, you can see it on their face. If
well, it's not just, obviously it won't just be that. I'll switch it up, but I want them to like yell it out. I also went to a training once where this guy had an amazing way of presenting. He would, it was like Forex trading or not Forex. Yeah, I think it was that like 10 years ago. And
Oanda.
When he would speak, he would not say the last word so people could fill in the blank for him. Right?
Ooh, that's
so
hard.
It made everybody just engage. Like, doesn't that sound? And everybody said good or something like that. I was like, wow, like that stuck with me 10 years later.
That's some churchy stuff, I will say.
And you know what?
My pastor does it.
It worked because it like tricks people into like paying attention and like wanting to participate. Everybody wants to participate. They're just too shy. They're too scared. They don't want to sound dumb.
They feel embarrassed.
Yeah. So if you engage the class, I feel like it'll completely change everything. And I always get, especially for Zoom, when I met people, type into the chat, I always feel like I get better results and more people engaging and more people following me, and I get more people. I always do an action step that when this class is done, go do what I taught you. And I feel like since I've started doing that, I've seen more people
try it.
Step because I make them tag me in the video.
Yeah, and say, shoot me a text with what you did, or tag me in it.
I make them tag me in the Instagram because I want to make sure that they uploaded it.
Cool. That works.
Yeah, that's a good point. When I do my boot camps, when I say, okay, now do it, not everyone does that step, but more people do it than if we didn't designate a time to do it. So that's a good point. I kind of struggle with not the forced participation, but the manipulation of participation, because I feel like, and again, this is just me. I got to step out of my own head and like realize not everyone works the way I do. But I feel like if someone has to be nudged or pushed into a subject matter or to do something that we're presenting, then they're just not interested. If they're not interested enough to listen for 40 minutes.
It could be the case. I mean, yes, there's going to be people like that, but there's also going to be people that are so insecure with where they're at in the profession that they don't feel comfortable actively participating. So if you kind of lay out that platform for that nudging, that all right, give me 2 blinks, give me, blink twice if you agree with me,
don't use that analogy.
This kind of thing. But no, if you present a really quote unquote a safe environment for people who are really unsure of where they're at, it's going to help the class versus making them feel like, okay, I want nothing to do with this. I'm just going to hang back and look like I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
I actually took train the presenter with our operating broker, Jackie Ellis. And one thing that stuck with me, I mean, a lot stuck with me. I'm definitely a better presenter after taking the class. But one thing that I was guilty of, I know, Chris, you've been guilty of it because I wanted to call you out on this before, but I shouldn't, because that leads to my actual point, is don't make anybody in the audience feel dumb. Like,
yeah, I struggle with that.
When they ask a question, make sure that the way you respond, the way you say it, the words you say doesn't make them feel dumb for asking it or saying it or voicing their opinion. Or if like I've said to do something previously and they haven't done it yet, don't call them out for it. Right.
Yeah.
So, because then they're going to be scared to ask another question. Or they're going to be scared to go to another training.
And they'll shut down in that training. So any amazing nuggets that you had to offer to them, gone. Like something that would change their business for life and could be amazing for them. They missed it because of the fact that they just felt so shut down.
These are really
by
good
that response.
These are really good points. When I first started getting real estate full time, I had no intentions of teaching or presenting or any of that. Actually, like I didn't even start that training. It was kind of just put on me. I just went down and did my job, went to work as a solar agent and just hustled, and the results were really good. and people wanted to know what I did, and I got asked to teach. But anyways, what I'm saying is that I'm by no means a professional presenter or speaker or trainer or teacher. And I have to learn these steps, and conversations like this help, and of course will help you guys too when you guys present. But what I'm saying is when you're like, you make a good point, because I falsely assume people have my same sense of humor when, you know what I mean? Because you can literally say the meanest, harshest thing, and it just flows off. You know what I mean? Like I grew up with a bunch of guys in my neighborhood, and all we did was tease each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? I had a giant mole on my cheek for most of my life, and they used to call me guacamole. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like guacamole. You know, then when I walked out, hey, it's guac. You know, and I'm like, thanks, hey. You know, but the thing is, it's like, when you grow up in that environment, you just nothing phases you. You know, you just kind of like, sales doesn't phase you, whatever. So sometimes I enter rooms where, and I'm better at this now, where I'm more sensitive that other people are sensitive. So, but when I would teach, sometimes I'm like, why would you do that? That's crazy. And they're like, but maybe it's just banter. Because if I did something stupid, Alex has no problem calling me out. Neither do you, Jen. That's what I would expect. And I'm learning. Friendship. Yeah, that's what I mean. I think and I'm not trying to be harsh here. I think, and I can't expect other people to be here, but I feel that really self-aware people who are generally self-aware of their imperfections own it. I think Jen and I spoke about this before, and they own it, and they're okay with being called out because they don't see it as an attack. They see it as uplifting. I had a conversation with someone on our team, and I know
criticism.
Yeah. I powered right through giving taking a breath because I didn't want you guys to butt in on this point real quick. So no. I was like, I have something to say, and I want to say it before I forget. So no, you're good. So I had a conversation with someone on our team 3 days ago. Was it Monday? Whatever. It was on Monday. And this individual has been with us for a year and really hasn't done a lot. And with that said, it was really stern of like what I'm seeing, what I'm not seeing, and whatever. But what I liked about it is that this person I knew that I could be like that, and it would just be they would take it and learn from it. They wouldn't sit there and go, "He's so mean," which previous agents on the team did. So that's a self-realized person who can take. I think if you can't take criticism and you can't see your own faults and see what other people are seeing in you and learning from them, and you can't adapt to that, real estate's going to be a really hard game for you.
Yeah.
So, but again, I can't assume that everyone is at that point, and I have to be more sensitive.
It's almost too like we're talking about the coaching aspect and just teaching and being a part of our peers, helping, assisting. But this same concept can be pretty much flipped over to the buyer and sellers. We're constantly educating them. We're constantly having to walk them through processes, and we have to like know our audience in that space. Where you're sarcastic. Granted, we work the Dream 300 system, so we know who we can, be sarcastic with and so on. But it's about being able to kind of read the space and work with what we got.
Read the room.
Know your audience. Read the room.
That's right. You always have to, really adapt to whoever it's not even just real estate, it's life in general. Like, especially if somebody's having a bad day and you don't know it and you neg them and then they like, wow, what an asshole.
Yeah. Right? Like, okay.
Or if they're doing that back to you, you don't know what their day was like. Why they're
That's true. You don't know where they're at in their mind at the moment. That's fair.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I learned that I love my dad, so I'm going to preface it with that. But I learned that I'm his son, and I also learn traits that do that, where my dad's very much that way. He's very much just like, who gives a shit? Let's just chat it out. Let's BS, whatever. And I watch him, and it's almost uncomfortable of how easy he is with people that he barely knows. And then I realize that I start doing that, and then I have to like bring myself back. And my wife would be like, you know what? Your genes are showing. Your DNA is showing. I'm like, oh, is that what's happening? I need to pull myself back.
So, but I want to make sure I understood that. So in other words, like your dad and you sometimes, you're like too comfortable with people quickly. Is that what it was? Like,
yeah, we both like
Your
to when we.
comes off.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. His does. I'm pretty good about that to most part because I'm conscious of it. I'm not saying I don't mess up. I do, but I'm saying with him, my dad, I noticed that he can go into a room, and when he finds someone that has a conversation, he gets really like deep too quick. Like, you know what I mean? Like talking about just like, just get like not topical stuff. He just dives in deep. And I'm that way too because I have a genuine, like, I'm fascinated by human beings. It's why I became a bartender, and it's actually why I got into sales and I studied negotiations. And I'm just fascinated about like everything about how the human brain works and the mind. So I'm interested in people when we're on a one-on-one deep conversation where we're not talking about like Britney Spears, and I find myself getting a little too deep in the weeds on that too soon. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Gotcha. It does now. It took me a second. I was like, I want to know more.
It happens. I get that way too. I'm introverted, but sometimes outgoing. But I can't strike up a conversation with a stranger. Like networking events, forget it.
Really?
Going out to drinks at a bar, people say go talk to those people. I can't do it. But if I find something that I feel like I'm comfortable with, like with you guys know a lot about my personal life, then I don't know how to turn my faucet off.
If you go to a bar with buddies or whoever you're with, and you're sitting at the bar and a bartender comes up and they're friendly, you can't strike up a conversation with them in that.
I don't know how to.
Really?
I like to call it RDF, resting douche face.
You're so stupid.
Which I'm trying to be more conscientious of, and being more like I'm usually like stern, even when I'm like in a good mood. But I'm trying to turn on the puppy dog eyes more, even when I'm just like standing by myself.
Do you Did you ever bartend? Yeah, Jen. We're not even gonna bring Jen in this conversation. She can literally have a conversation with a flower behind her, and it will talk back.
That's how I talk to my plants. Okay.
And yes. I know. We didn't even have to guess it.
It's why they're so healthy.
Truth.
And vibrant. Or they're made out of plastic.
Well, some of them are real. But tell me. So you wouldn't talk to a bartender. You're working on your resting bitch face. Oh wait, douche face. And then what?
No, that's it. So it's hard for me to just go up to random people. That's why I feel like it's hard for me to network and.
So you were never in the business, Alex? You didn't wait tables or bartend?
I food ran. Also, our chat. We have people in our chat.
Yeah, it's Jason. Thanks, Jason, for being here. I am reading it.
Yeah, I was a food runner and a busser. I never.
Okay. Yeah, I forced myself to bartend and wait tables because I was so shy like that, and I would always notice that the most popular people were the ones who were outgoing, and I wasn't, and I was envious of that, honestly. Yeah. And I was fascinated, like, how can I be so scared of other people and this person not be? And we're in the same room with the same people. Like, there's I was always fascinated, like the different approaches that people made. So it forced me to wait tables. But when you're forced to not be so shy, and put yourself out there, and then you get into sales, part of our job is a leadership role where there are people hiring us to lead them down a path. So I'm actually shocked that you're that shy, because in listening presentations, I can imagine when you're in person. Well, I don't know. I've never seen you present. I mean, I take a leadership role in that conversation because I know that's what they're looking for, guidance. They're not looking to give someone a deal. So how do you win presentations? Are you?
I flip a switch because I know it's more about my success and my future, and putting food on the table, house over my head, and getting a listing and doing a good job for the seller and getting referrals. And so then I'm great because it's not cold, it's warm, right?
It's warm. It's with purpose, right? So, you have a purpose. Your big why is your driver.
Yeah. You know what's amazing about this, Alex? You're a smart guy. You're a charming guy. You're a good-looking guy. What if you weren't any of those things, like a lot of people in society? whatever. I'm comfortable in my masculinity.
No, you missed his framing face. He framed his face for you.
Okay. Well, he is. He's a good looking dude. Like people in your position, and you're semi-successful. I don't know. Maybe you're very successful. I don't know, but you're not a loser, and you don't have you don't have bad habits that I know of.
Keep trying to tell myself that.
I'm just saying, like, I think there's a reason why I'm inviting you to a podcast, because you're a solid dude and I like you. So my point to that is, someone in your position with those attributes, I can only imagine if you didn't have those attributes, like how do those people feel who are just, you know what I mean? So I would say own what you got, dude. Like, confidence is the most attractive feature.
I gotta get my own head. Everybody has their own inner voice, and sometimes my inner voice says, don't step out of your comfort zone.
Are you scared that what people think?
It's not that. It's like I tell myself, I don't know what I'm gonna say. What am I gonna say? What should I say? I don't sound like an idiot, right? It's like I psych myself out before I'm able to take that step.
Do you later on?
I know it's practice. I just gotta get out of there, kick myself in the butt, and mess up a million times until I figure out what works for me. And
when are you gonna do it, bro? You're approaching 40.
Chill. 34. Just turned 34.
For anybody who's not watching, that chill was accompanied by the rock eyebrow as well.
So yeah, it definitely was.
I do my right one. I don't know how to do my right one.
It came out so naturally.
Alex, do you and Jen, do you do this? I do this. I would sit there and think back about conversations, and I might do it sometime today about this conversation, and like, God, why did you say that? That was so stupid.
Yeah, I do that.
20 minutes later, after I've left the conversation, talk to myself.
But here's my point, though. We all do that. So it's like, you might as well just go out and be you, and the people who are like you are going to like you, and the people who don't, and the people who are smart enough and emotionally intelligent enough can be aware that sometimes people just say off-color things, and doesn't make them a bad person.
Yeah,
that's the people you need to focus on, not the people who bully and talk and belittle and talk crap about behind their back. Who cares? Screw them. You need to be, you got to be you, and then the people who get it, and the people who don't. I mean, that's how I look at it. Right now, people are going to watch this and they're like, it's all perception. So like right now, there's probably people watching this or listening to this, and I don't know, let's just throw a number. Let's say 100 people. And every single person has a different idea of all of us, slightly, whether it's good, bad, indifferent on that scale, yet they're listening to the same exact thing. Right? So we can't sit here and try to control everyone's self-created, whether it's conscious or unconscious perception of us, or we will go insane. The only thing we can control is elevating who we are as people, and allowing us to be free in that aspect, as long as we're not crossing any weirdo social lines. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
I think I saw something on TikTok, and I shared it to my Instagram stories yesterday because I felt like it was very powerful. It's the most intelligent people are those who are able to self-reflect and grow from their self-reflection. People that are the least intelligent are those that always they can't grow, and they feel like nothing's wrong with them, and they're not looking to change the things that they can change that should be changed. Right? Those are the more unintelligible people.
Well, I would say emotionally unintelligent. There's very smart people who are emotionally unaware.
Well, I could be intelligence. Wrong. You're correct. Intelligence can mean many different things. It's not always,
IQ,
your GPA, right?
If that's the case, I'm a dumbass.
I am I got lucky graduating high school.
Yeah, well, I think that's what attracted me to both of you guys. Because, huh? Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
But you own your dumbassness. Yeah, no, but seriously, it's like when you think about it, when we're younger and we're just trying to be cool and fit in, and then we're realizing as we get older that's not exactly the type of people we necessarily want to surround ourselves with. And some people are still in that world. Some people are still looking for that. But as when for many people, I would say that more socially aware and emotional intelligent people. Then you get older in life and you realize that there's the things that the people you should be around are the people who are okay with being imperfect and okay with owning up that they're wrong and okay that there's mistakes to be made. I can't stand arrogance. It's my biggest, when I see someone arrogant, like we have friends in the real estate game and their social media posts and all that is just so arrogant. And I don't, it's not that I'm hating. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I know they're really just masking their insecurity. So I kind of feel bad. But on the other side of it, I'm like, God, you're so douchey and you don't even know it.
Probably know exactly who you're all talking
about. Oh, I know. I have a ton. I have like, I'll see it and I'm like, and then I'll see people like your post, you two. That's why I like both you guys. I'll see your stuff and I'm like, I get them. You know, I like them. They're real.
Yeah. My social media persona is very carefully crafted.
But it's authentic to who you are, right? And what you want to put out.
Well, if you want it to be. Some people are fake as shit on it, but you're right, Jen. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that weird is cool, and I'm the weirdest chick in town, and I own every fiber of that word. I'm just quirky. I am who I am. I'm authentically who I am, and I feel it translates across the board in everything I do because I do it with an open heart, a giving heart. I'm always here to serve. I'm big into my family, obviously.
Yeah, and you love turkey socks.
Oh my God, I cracked up so hard by myself and then made the video and laughed really hard.
Your socks were, so she's talking about, so around Thanksgiving now when we're recording this, and she has a post with, she got turkey socks and her post is just her turkey socks talking to each other. And I'm like, what am I watching?
But you watched it.
I did. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah. I got every single one of my family members these damn socks for the turkey trot tomorrow that they are not excited about running with me. And I'm trying to contemplate what Jen is showing up tomorrow because I'm very competitive. So am I showing up as the fun mom who's going to run alongside her kids, or am I going to smoke these kids? I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I don't want.
But see the results. Make sure you make a social media post out of it.
Yeah, I feel like it's their first family race. We've done races separately, but it's our first family race. So I kind of have to show up as Team Uno mom, where I'm like, come on, guys.
Do you have your logo on like shirts and stuff?
No, I only have the socks.
Man, no, I'm saying like your real estate like stuff.
Oh, no, I'm not there yet. I went old school legal paper. I have my what is it called? My time block, and Walmart and crafting section is here, which we're 2 minutes past my time block.
Oh, you're right. Actually, so you're right. Me too.
I have a hard stop. I have to go get turkey stuff.
All right, so we'll wrap this up. The reason why the whole point of this podcast was going to talk about the negotiating training that was going to be free for Black Friday. We never even got there, but I do want to. I'll wrap up my part of that, and then we can we move on. So I am tirelessly working on a negotiating course that I'm going to give for free. It's for Black Friday free. If you want it, let me know. I have links everywhere for it. It's totally free. You get it, you dive in, and I really talk about my 3 to 4 different negotiating tactics that I've used my whole career. Ironically, one of them is about to ask more questions, and I don't do that enough in personal settings, but in business settings I do. So if you want that free negotiating course, I'm not exactly where. I'll just go to my webpage and find it or something. But it's free.
What's your webpage?
I know, coachingbykuzi.com. You can email me, message me, I'll send it to you. And yeah, there you go.
Chris, I have an action step for you.
What?
Next podcast we do, I challenge you to tally this. Ask 5 questions.
I asked 5 questions today.
All right, ask 10 questions.
Okay. I was aware of that today, Alex. I was, and I did ask.
I felt it. I just want you to be. I'm helping you grow.
Mega
aware. ALC member, I'm helping you grow.
I will say to Alex, I'm not sure if you saw last week's episode, which I honestly felt that was a rock solid episode.
Because I wasn't there.
Oh, I gotta say something about that. Go, Jen.
No, Alex, please. But yeah, the whole we were bouncing back and forth. We were able to have that conversation and really dive deep into both aspects of the growth concept that we were having. Chris?
I'm adapting like everyone else in this world who's socially aware.
That's good.
All right, I'm going to say one more thing and then Alex, wrap it up. I'm sorry.
No.
But I wanted to mention this point. Last week was a great episode, and there's a lot of solid talking points. And Hennifer Konikoff, you have yet
I have
clip
Opus.
it.
No, I did.
Okay, so we clip them and turn some portions of it into social media reels and TikToks. And I was surprised you haven't done it yet. So, anyways, all right, Alex, sorry. I just want to get that out before we wrap up.
I was going to say anything. Let's wrap it up.
You're going to say bye.
Oh, bye.
Okay. Bye, everyone. Bye. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Bye.
Depending on when you're watching this. All right, bye.
Oh, yeah.